Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to this edition of the EGU podcast for awakening and emerging conscious entrepreneurs. Guys and gals, turn off your zings and pings for 30 to 40 minutes because you have got two energy healers right here ready to spill. Spill on how you can manipulate energy to create the life and business of your dreams, of your wildest dreams. And sitting here with me today is Stef Ventura of Divine Empowered Creatrix. Welcome to the show, Stef.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle. I'm super excited to be here.
It is pretty exciting. There's a real buzz certainly going on in and around me, that's for sure. So let me tell our guests a little bit about you. Stef Ventura is a female empowerment coach, a business coach, and an energy healer. She specializes in teaching female entrepreneurs how to uncover the deep limiting beliefs and emotional traumas that are holding them back so they can bring themselves into alignment with the clients, opportunities, and financial success they desire. She firmly believes that anyone is capable of creating a life and business of their dreams, so long as they're willing to do the inner work that's required to more deeply love, believe, and trust in themselves, as well as recognizing their divine worth. I'm just going to let that sink in to a few people's hearts before we continue, Steph. It's very, very powerful words. But as I understand, you haven't always been this powerful.
No, it took a year.
Would you mind sharing with us a little of your personal journey?
Yeah, in a nutshell, basically, I had to overcome a lot of limiting beliefs and emotional trauma from being raised in a very abusive home. I constantly got abused very harshly by my father. And then I am originally from Peru, but my parents took me to America, to the United States, in search of the American dream. And they were immigrants. And so I was the oldest of three children. And my parents, being the natural, like working class people that they were in a new country, they were gone a lot of the time, and I was alone a lot of the time to raise my younger brothers. I had a lot of responsibility on me, and seeing all of that abuse, not just towards me, towards my brothers, towards my mother as well, seeing very horrible scenes between her and my father, and growing up experiencing that, and my mother finally taking a stand when I was 13 years old, having just enough of the abuse. She decided to break free from my father, and she became a single mom when I was 13. And I felt even more pressure then because my mom was having trouble holding it together, struggling to pay bills. We lost our home, our car, we had to move. It was such a huge change, not just because in a way I kind of lost my father, even though I was kind of happy about that, but at the same time, it's my dad, you know?
Yeah, I do.
And then my mother struggling, and she was very absent because she was working her butt off trying to hold it together. And she was with us, she was very out of it. We were neglected, more. And going through my rebellion years, teenage years, that was hard. And dealing with all of this at such a crucial moment of my life at 14, I come to find out I'm in the US as an undocumented immigrant. I come to basically have the rug swept from underneath my feet because all of my life I had been prepared to go and have higher education, because my family had trained me that was the whole point of them going to the United States, was for me to have a better life than them, for me to become a white collar working class person, professional. And that was their dream for me, and having that basically just get thrown into the trash all because of a legal situation, and wondering like, well, what's going to happen to me now? What's going on with my life now? Like my family's not together, mom is a bit crazy right now, and now I have no future. And thinking at just that young age, like I have nothing to live for, and going through, kill myself so many times because I thought, what's the point? There's no future. What's the point? Mom had me, stay on. And I graduated by a miracle because I wanted to just drop out. But I graduated. I got so many offers from universities to get scholarships and do all these things because I was a very good student, but I couldn't take them. And I was basically for 2 years living as something I wasn't, more than ever, because I was in the real world and I wasn't legal. And And I was miserable for 2 years, not feeling, trapped because I wasn't able to drive legally, work legally, travel, go to the club with my friends because I didn't have an ID, and just very miserable, but very scared of coming back to Peru because I didn't know what to expect. My Spanish wasn't at the level it is today, but the universe intervened and was like, when you don't choose to grow, the universe will force you into growth. So the universe stepped in and brought immigration into my life, and immigration helped me prepare to come back home. And at that point, I was like, you know what, the jig is up. I was coming back home, but I have no choice but to, because I'd rather go already and just get it over with than continue to sit here in this country and be miserable and consciously like always worry about getting picked up and mysteriously getting home, my mother not finding out what happens to me till I land in Peru or something. So I came back at 20 years old to start over from zero. Barely had family here, and life has just been a story of overcoming curveball after curveball, because that's not the end of it. and learning how to still thrive despite all of that, and learning how to overcome all of the limiting beliefs that I developed as a result of the harsh experiences that I went through and all of the trauma, learning how to really heal from that and being my true self and really embracing my power, and knowing that doesn't matter what may have happened to me, what I've gone through, it's always up to me to be able to create what I desire. And if I've been able to create an online business, I've been able to succeed at entrepreneurship 3 times already at just 29 years old from Peru, when so many people thought that there was absolutely no future for me. Once I went back to Peru, they literally was like, she's a dead girl, like she's gone, she's a goner, how is she going to make Peru when higher education is especially important here? And living situation is different, but I still was able to do it. And I'm here showing people like it's possible. If it's possible for me in Peru to do it, despite everything I've been able to overcome, it's possible for anyone.
I just want to take a moment to honor your journey, honey. What a woman.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'm yet to meet anyone certainly in my circle these days, which has not always been the same circle, I might say, that hasn't overcome incredible odds to be sitting in the space that they are ready to share those gifts with the world. Yeah, we get given so many things to test us along the way. And it's what we do with those tests and challenges shape and mold us into the women that we are. And it's easy to sit here now and say things are wonderful and not many worries in the world at all, in fact. But gee, it's been a heck of a thing. To all of the women listening, if you resonate in any way, shape or form with Stef's journey, you're in a space where things aren't ideal, just know that you have the power to shift that. You and only you. So Stef, let's talk about how you went about shifting that. I know that you and I share a deep passion for energy manipulation, energy healing, energy work. Everything's energy, right?
Yes, I'm so passionate about it. Like, the more you live it and experience it for yourself, the more you know this is the truth.
And when did this start? When did it show up for you that this is the way? Once you learn this, once you nail this, once you master this, things shift.
I started noticing the power of energy after struggling for 13 months to make any money from my business. I was sharing with you personally like the story, the journey I went through, but in a nutshell, I after 9 months of struggling, I got a business coach. I learned all the things I needed to do to have an online business, and I did that to the highest of my ability, and it never translated to results. And after 13 months of struggling, I finally had my first big break, which for me was the proudest moment of my life. I got $54 from something I was doing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm a legit online entrepreneur at last. But as I went on this journey, a couple months after that, I connected with my mentor, who brought to my awareness I needed to do healing work, and I thought she was like out of her mind. I was like, what is she talking about? I'm okay. I've turned out to be a good person despite everything. And I think a lot of us are sometimes unconsciously in denial. We don't realize the amount of baggage that we're carrying, or the unconscious beliefs that we have that are literally like stopping us from really exploiting our potential. Having that in my awareness that I needed to heal from this deep trauma, that deep rage I felt towards people that I felt had abused me and had made me feel powerless as a child. And I started really releasing that. And I noticed as I really released all of those feelings of sadness, of anger, of, hopelessness, or whatever I felt back in the day that I wasn't able to honor, and I started honoring that and letting that go, I felt a lot lighter. I felt better, and my reality started shifting with me. Like, I started getting clients, I started making money. And the more I did this and I kept going along my journey, the more I saw that every time I made a huge shift in some kind of decision, maybe it was investing in myself, maybe it was healing myself, whatever it was for me, announcing something, speaking more of my truth, every time I made a massive energetic shift, things massively shifted with me. And I was like, oh my God, like, my reality is truly like a reflection of my energy. It's a projection of whatever I'm putting out there. And so I just became more and more passionate because it was like magic. And the moment that I tell you that this really solidified in my beliefs was when I did a really deep healing session with a friend. And it was so hard on me. My ego did not want me to go forward. I literally felt her hand on my shoulder pulling me back, and I was like, girl, you gotta let me go. I'm about to fight you. I'm trying to. And I kept battling and kept going and doing my absolute best to get through it. And I released so much energy that afterwards my back felt like it had the most amazing deep tissue massage, and I felt such a release. And within 24 hours, I got 3 people to sign up and have one-off sessions with me. And that had never happened before. And I was like, holy crap. Like, I released some big stuff, and this is the result of that. And it was around self-worth. And then because I dealt with self-worth, I was able to receive more money, right? And so that's when I was like, this is true.
So, Steph, are there some huge beliefs or limiting beliefs, some that are bigger and harder to release than others?
Yeah, of course, because we all have huge egos. In fact, someone reported last year was like, oh, you probably think I'm a really, difficult student or something. And I was like, girl, no, I'm my most difficult student. I have my biggest stuff I have to overcome. And we have some limiting beliefs that we are unconsciously so attached to for whatever reasons that it's like really hard to let those go. Really, really hard. And it's hard to admit to that. It's hard to admit to that and take personal responsibility over that. But it's when you do that you can finally make massive shifts in your life. So we all have those big beliefs.
Yeah, and you obviously work with people, as do I for that matter, to uncover those. Do you have a procedure, a step-by-step, for anyone sitting there that's thinking, how do I figure out what is the big kahuna that's holding me back in my life? Do you have I'm imagining it's actually quite simple. It's much simpler than what people think. We tend to make things harder, don't we, for ourselves than what we need to.
Yeah. It's, in a nutshell, it's basically like identifying what's that limiting belief that you have. Why is it coming up for you? So a lot of times how you can tell if a limiting belief is coming back for you is coming up for you is, you might feel it in your body. You might feel tension, your heart racing, your shoulders getting tight, that kind of thing. Some kind of physical indication will show up. Your stomach will be off. These kinds of, you will start hearing the negative mind chatter. So when you want to, especially when you're trying to move forward in your life and you're trying to work on yourself and go in the direction that you feel you need to go in, immediately the ego mind will chime in and try to discourage you and give you all the logical reasons why this doesn't make sense. And you will oftentimes fall into its trap and listen like, yes, ego, you make total sense. Thank you. And you don't move forward. So it's a matter of okay, well, what is it that I'm really afraid of here? Is it that if I invest money now, I won't be able to have money later for what I need? Is it that I'm afraid of failing? Is it that I'm afraid of being judged or criticized? What's the real belief here? And then once you identify that, and you identify how it feels in your body, what's coming up for you, then you do some more digging into, I always call digging or inner work, into going into deeper layers of that. Because a lot of times the current fear that we're experiencing is because we are associating it to something from the past, something that created that belief, that emotional trauma within ourselves, and we just keep reliving it over and over again as we move forward in life. So where is this belief of you not being good enough, not deserving, all of these issues that are coming up for you, where is that belief really stemming from? What's your earliest memory around that? And then dig into that and see, like, okay, who helped you create this belief? Why? How do you feel about yourself? And digging more into that and allowing yourself to really honor what's coming up for you, to really feel what's coming up for you, and to be able to then, once you have that greater perspective around, oh my God, I can't believe I was believing this for so long and it was coming from this, and so on and so forth, and you've processed it, then really, choosing to shift out of that, choosing to really adopt new beliefs that you want to have and to start working on truly believing those moving forward.
Yeah, it is hard doing that work. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it and everyone would have the life of their dreams. But you make that decision and you set that intention to go put yourself first and become all that you came here to be, and be prepared to do what it takes to see what that is.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it sounds pretty easy and straightforward, but getting over the resistance around sitting down and actually doing journaling work can be hard sometimes. So many times I put myself to sleep when I'm really going into some deep stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. Next thing I know, I'm drooling on my notebook and I'm like, oh, snap. Ego, why did you do this to me? Because the ego is so resistant sometimes that it will shut you down. It will stop you from moving forward. It'll be like, no, you don't need to journal right now on that. Go and do laundry. Go and clean your house. Go and do the groceries. And it's a matter of overcoming that.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. So our favorite topic, energy manipulation. How does one manipulate energy? Firstly, I know we need to manipulate it to get out of the crap, if you like, into a better space, because everything's energy. So when we're in a crappy situation attracting all sorts of crap, we're literally vibrating at a very, very low frequency. And the universe is sending everything in that frequency straight to us, because that's exactly what we're asking for.
Exactly. You can see my excitement.
It's something that we're very passionate. That's exactly what happens. And that's the law of attraction at its best.
Yeah.
The thing that I've found most people struggle with is how to shift that, how to stop attracting all that dodgy stuff that we don't want, desperately don't want. And the more desperate we don't want it, the more it attaches itself to us. So how do we shift that, Stef? How do you encourage your clients to shift that and as a result shift their lives?
So I'm super excited to be talking about this, because this past I was teaching in my tribe around this, because it's really interesting how I've been led to this by spirit. I'm very spiritual too. I would use this in my work. And, the creator, the universe, spirit has been leading me to master energy manipulation to help other people then master it for themselves and understand, like, you have the power to create the reality you want. It's all in you. You just have to get yourself aligned to it. So law of attraction is easy to understand. No, it's simple. It's simple, but it's not always easy to apply in our lives. That's the tricky part. And so how to begin really aligning yourself to the things that you want is you got to do the inner work. You got to release those limiting beliefs, those traumas, because they are low vibrational energy. And so if you are not making the time to uncover your deep unconscious limiting beliefs, which, by the way, the subconscious governs a great majority of what you experience in life. This is why mindset work is super important. And really understanding, like, what do you have in your closet? What monsters or skeletons or whatever do you have in your closet? Because if you don't make the time to go in there and clear that out, then it's always going to subconsciously hold you back. So sometimes people talk about how the law of attraction fails in a way, because especially if you've seen certain documentaries or books, you might have this belief that, well, if I just repeat, I have a lot of money, or I have so many amazing clients, or I have a beach house, you're going to eventually just magically make it happen. But that's not the way it works. Is law of attraction is a combination of you doing that work on yourself to release the energy that isn't serving you, taking action steps towards what you desire, and then having that belief and holding the vibration for what you want so that it comes to you. Even when the reality isn't showing that to you, you have to know, as if you were already living in that situation, feeling it, vibrating at that level, that it's yours already. And it takes people time to build up to that, because we are in such disbelief. We're skeptical. It's that negative part of ourselves where we're like, no, I can't, I have to see it to believe it and all this stuff. It takes practice for sure to build up to that point.
Yeah, I love that you just said, I have to see it to believe it, because you have to believe it to see it. Believe it with your heart and your soul and your every fiber of your being. You have to literally place yourself in that space when it's not true, for it to become true.
Exactly. But if you still have blocks around your heart, around your belief, your trust, your faith, all of these different things, if you still haven't addressed the blocks around that, whether they're mental, emotional, a combination of both, then it's going to be hard for you to hold the vibration of the things that you want to be able to manifest them in your life. That's why the inner work is important.
Yeah, I agree with you. You can't hide these. You can't hide from it. You've got to do the work. Otherwise, you're going to keep getting dragged back.
Exactly.
The universe is our greatest teacher. Everything happens for us, not to us. I often say to my clients, the universe is not out to get you. It's laying things in front of you for you to see, to open your eyes, to look deeper at it so that you can move on.
Exactly.
And once we heal for ourselves too, we heal for our lineage. We heal for our kids. We heal for the collective. It's so amazing. What a great time to be alive.
It is.
Stef, is there anything that you'd like to share in terms of any action steps? This type of stuff is really hard to do on your own, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of times you need someone to support you because, again, you have that ego resisting. And so you need someone to be able to hold space for you, to work through that process, because you dig into sometimes the deepest, darkest parts of yourself that you're resistant to actually going inward and facing. And you need someone to kind of lovingly nudge you in that direction so that you keep releasing that aspect of yourself over and over and over again. And a lot of times, if we don't already possess the information, the tools, the skills to be able to do this, we don't have the insight that we need to be able to bring to our awareness certain blocks that we need to clear, then that person who is working with us and supporting us is facilitating that information to you. So I gave you some steps in this interview on how to begin doing your inner work, but maybe I'm pretty sure there are a number of blocks around maybe relationships or money or business success or whatever that you're not aware of that can hold you back. And because you don't have that awareness, but I have that awareness because I've had my own blocks that I've had to deal with, I can then bring that to your awareness so that you can then clear that very easily and very quickly. So it's super important to surround ourselves with the right help and making sure that the person that is helping us is living and walking their talk, is being an example of what they teach, and that we have trust with them, because when you do this work, trust is essential. I help people uncover some of the deepest, darkest things that they don't even admit to their family or their friends, right? And I have to be able to have a really good level of trust with people so that they're able to reveal all of these things that they're truly deeply ashamed of, that they're fearful of sharing with people, that they can really let go of those layers that they need to shed in order to be more of their true selves. And so trust is essential in that kind of relationship. So it's really important to have trust with someone and to work with someone who can do that for you, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Most often the really big stuff we're even too ashamed to admit to ourselves. And they're the doozies. They're the ones that really have to come out into the light. The worst thing that could possibly happen by bringing them out into the light is that you get to shine.
Yes. And we're afraid of shining. We're afraid of it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Stef, thank you. What I'd love is to give you the opportunity to share with our audience how they can benefit from working with you in your program.
Yeah, so I'm starting my new business group coaching program. It's Empowered Divine Creatrix. It's a 12-week program in which I help you drastically just propel yourself forward in your life and business, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're just starting out, you have a physical business or an online business, especially you're a light worker. This is for you to really be able to do that deep mindset work, that deep inner healing, emotional work, to really know how to use the business strategies that you hear about so often in the online space that work for you and your unique soul, because it's not a matter of like trying to do what everyone else is telling you to do. It's a matter of listening to your soul and following that, because this program alone, I just did a live on it today, or I shared it somewhere today, where I haven't exactly done the best level of marketing for this program because of Mercury retrograde. And I'm blaming Mercury retrograde. I will blame Mercury retrograde, but I just didn't feel it the way I normally do to create sales copy and these kinds of things. I just created the sales page. I shared about it here and there in videos. And even then, I still have people signing up for it because my energy is aligned to receive those people with ease and grace. But that was a result of me doing this deep inner work and really being able to know how to build my business from a soul aligned base. And so that's what I teach you in this 12-week program, is how to begin doing that for yourself and radically propel yourself forward. Because I went from making no money in my first year of business to, in my second year of business, making 3 times what I had ever made in 1 year of my working in my 9 to 5, and I could not believe it. And then this year, in my third year of business, things are radically taking off. And this was a result of me having that massive growth from doing this massive healing work that I can help people with amazingly. So if you feel called to it, I would love to have you there. And if you want to hang out with me and get to know me, build that trust with me, learn from me, you're more than welcome to join me in my Divine Creatrix Facebook group. I have hours and hours of free teachings there. I do all kinds of stuff in there. I give free mini sessions. So it's a really amazing, engaged, supportive sisterhood mainly, where you can come and connect with me.
And it is, I'm a part of your tribe and I love it, your energy in there, that the amount of information that you do give in service, absolutely free, is mind-blowing. It's exceptional. Congratulations, Stef, on your growth, on your willingness to dig deep and dirty and really, really allow yourself to step up and shine for others.
Yes, girl.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. So just to recap for our guests and our listeners, we've got to do the inner work. There's no way around it. It's got to be done.
Nope.
If it don't do it now, it's going to come back and keep biting you on the bum until you're brave enough to step up and do it. It's really that simple. Got to do the mindset work. Every word we mutter or murmur to ourselves and to others carries a frequency, and we get exactly what we want or don't want, depending on what that frequency vibration is. It's very, very important to get aligned with that, to your soul purpose and truth as well. And be prepared to do the blocks. Find someone that can help you do this work so that you can do it in a short space of time rather than years and years and years of heartache and pain. And that comes down to a level of trust. Yeah, I can see you completely align with that.
Yes, because I'm a healer, you're a healer, and we're light workers, and there's nothing wrong with other healers doing their amazing work, but sometimes when we don't know how to do the work effectively, we can spend years trying to figure it out, and it doesn't have to be that long. It's just a matter of are you willing to do what it takes to get to where you want to get to as quickly as you want to get to? It's not going to always be the most pleasant, but you're going to be so grateful once you're on the other side of it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So, Stef, thank you so very much for your time. Guys and girls, all the links you need to connect with Stef, to connect with her program, are in the show notes attached or below. I'd like to invite you to reach out and step up if you're ready, if you're feeling a pull, if you're feeling a tug, if you're feeling that giant hand on your back saying, come on, girl, it's your time. Please remember, the journey of your life begins with one single step, or even a click of a mouse these days. So just reach out, allow us to support, love, nurture, and honor every part of your being so that we can see the truth underneath who you truly are. And then we will hold that space for you until you see it for yourself. So you can find me, Michelle Reinhardt, at mindsetenergyandhealing.com. You can also find us within my online community of nearly 6,000 spiritual entrepreneurs, and that group is called Entrepreneurs Globally Unite. We are the heartbeat of change. So please reach out, connect with us if you feel we can support you in any way, shape or form. It would be our absolute honor and privilege to do so. Once again, Stef Ventura, thank you so very much for your gorgeous time and energy. I wish you enormous success. and honour every path, every step of your journey to date. Look forward to seeing the rest of it as it plays out.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been such an honor to be able to connect with you and share our journeys out of this interview and to talk together and to provide value to others in this interview. And I just want to acknowledge you and tell you how much I appreciate you and everything that you're doing. While I was watching you just now, finishing up this interview, I could just feel so much light from you and feel all of the positive, amazing, beautiful intentions that you have for what you do and how it's going to serve people. So thank you so much for lighting the way, being an example, and providing your tribe with interviews like this where they can greatly benefit from. And I appreciate your time so much.
Thank you so much, honey. Well, it's goodbye from us for this week, guys and girls. Shine bright, because that is why you're here. I'll see you next week. Thanks again, Steph.
See you next week.